Hello, everyone. Glad to see you back here at Silver Tears Tarot. And of course, a warm welcome to those of you who are new. So, here's another one coming from the inbox. Honestly, you guys are the most impressive thing. I can feel the healing that's happening in you, and I can also feel the really intense pain when I talk to you guys. The fact that you are rising toward your healing from within that pain is nothing short of amazing. So today, one of you is asking about secrets. One of you is asking about, and actually a few of you are asking about what is hidden. What is it that you can't see? And this is a question that comes up in a few forms. So we're going to look at it, and we're going to look at what's hidden, whether they're trying to keep this from you or whether it's just something you can't see from where you're standing. And of course, it'll be a general reading for all signs, but as I always say, not for all people. It won't resonate with everybody. If it does resonate with you and it's your story, please like the video and of course subscribe if it feels like you get in and you see a couple of these and you figure out that these messages are for you. Go ahead and subscribe so we can stay connected. This has been one big series of connected readings, and so I would imagine it's going to stay that way as this collective starts to come together and become more, it's just becoming like more cohesive and more coherent. And I'm even starting to see interaction between some of you out on social media in a very positive sort of way. So anyway, what we're going to start with here is kind of, we're going to look at your person and your situation. We'll start by looking at that energy that's flowing between you before we jump into specifically what is hidden. So we're looking for the energy flowing between the two of you right now. And we've got the Nine of Swords, but in reverse. So this is kind of, sometimes it's a presumption. This is more of it's a place that the two of you are looking to go. It's not necessarily a place that you've attained yet. The Nine of Swords is a card of anxiety and consternation, I guess, is the way that I would say it. And that's true, but sometimes you get better words depending on how the card is coming across. Certainly here in the reverse, it's looking to walk away from some of that anxiety. And we saw that when we looked in the Soulmates March refresh. We saw that there was this kind of general movement and your desire to get away from anxiety, and that's something that's kind of starting to materialize, but it's kind of still a bumpy ride. So let's look in a little bit more deeply to see what's happening in that energy. And we've got the Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords, one of the things that's important about this is it's energy that could probably be better spent. Sometimes it's about fighting a battle that is not necessary or not something that you necessarily want to put your energy into. So be looking for something like that. There may be a little bit of overthinking and extra anxiety, kind of internal conflict coming from that as well. And those are all things that come from that card, but they don't always come out at the same time. So there's kind of a lot happening there. So we've got I wish I had the King of Pentacles, but it doesn't have that glow to it. The Six of Swords is also wanting to come out in the reverse, which helps us to understand your situation a little bit more. The reason that this is in reverse is because it's something that just kind of hasn't calmed down yet. There are still some emotions that are going that are pretty tumultuous. A lot is going on there, but not necessarily positive things. It's a tough place to be, and it will get easier. It's one of those things where things are going to calm down. It's like going from choppy waters into calmer waters, and when you get into those calmer waters, you can look down into the water and reflect. But until then, it's pretty difficult to see any reflection, and that's kind of what we see going on in the energy right now. So this is a lot of internal conflict, pushing things in a direction that's not super important to go. And that's what that Five of Swords, it's like an inefficient energy. And here we have that Seven of Swords. So we've now had the five, the six in reverse, which is that those are kind of not ideal situations. And then once again, we've got the Seven of Swords, again, not ideal. Again, a card I'd rather see in reverse. So this one is about, sometimes it's a card of deception, deceit. If it's deception, it is self-deception though. I get there's this feeling of hiding. I don't necessarily get that there's this feeling of wanting to do wrong by anybody. It's not that kind of deception. It could be somebody, it could be your person looking to hide, but not necessarily having any negativity exactly behind it. It doesn't flow for them as well as what they'd like for it to flow, but everything is starting to make a little bit more sense for both of you. And I would say this probably doesn't flow as well as either of you would like for it to flow. But we've also got the reason that we've got the Nine of Swords in reverse, which is actually a kind of a reduction in anxiety, even though we've got these other energies where things are just kind of popping around and creating fears and not being able to soothe them and things like that. You guys are also not the same as you were when you walked into this situation. So there's been some level of development that even though you're looking at this, you're kind of a little bit more able to see it for what it is. I don't know if it's been from you watching these readings or from just work that you've been doing on your own, but there is some development here that you're able to not just have done it, but also to feel it and call it out for yourself. This is a really positive thing, and it's happening in both of your worlds. So there's something to be considered that I would say it's a step in the right direction, even though things are still not feeling especially comfortable for you. So we've got the Three of Swords. Still a lot of sadness going on here. And if you watched the reading from yesterday, you'll know that one of the things we talked about, so this was a reading all about finding your passion and finding that thing that was going to help you. The Three of Swords kept coming out in reverse in that reading, and it was talking about basically this is your heartbreak falling away. This is things starting to feel a little bit better, and you being able to direct your energy in a place that is a little bit more productive instead of in a place of overthinking or a lot of rationalizing. But we also saw that it was not without its challenges. Even the act of redirecting your energy made some of you feel a little bit guilty, or makes some of you feel a little bit guilty. We also have this Princess of Wands. And this is like a symptom of not being able to, it's one of the things that may start to happen as a defense mechanism as you try to reach out for what it is that you want. The energy that's happening between the two of you, though, is not just the energy of you finding that new passion. It also has their energy mixed into it. And you'll see some of that defensive, I didn't want it anyway kind of energy. Definitely a lot of sadness that seems to have come out and been triggered almost in the recent past, possibly in the last week or so. It's a lot of us um, that felt that full moon pretty strongly. It was an intense one, and it was a moon that helps you let go, but that wasn't always a relief for everybody. So some of you came to me and said, "Okay, I'm letting go a little bit, but I surely don't like it." Um, with that came this sense of discombobulation, or not necessarily feeling like everything was very organized. But there's also a feeling that you're aware of it. So, and this is going to be our last card for this one. It's a feeling that you are aware of it, but not necessarily that you have all the answers. So the King of Swords is particularly adept at looking into a situation and learning more, or kind of not necessarily learning more about it, but taking in the more information. So taking a step back, looking at the big picture, being able to build a strategy based on what is out there and kind of what the components are of that picture. So this is a mixed energy. There's some of it that's tough and fearful and difficult and didn't want it anyway, and kind of has this sour grape sort of feel to it. And another part that says, okay, but in reality, I can see what's going on. And I'm feeling an awful lot, but I also am not the same person as I was before. And that's true for both of you. So this new fold in the energy where the two of you have kind of um, you're maybe feeling like you can let go a little bit more is also, even though it's got its challenges, those challenges didn't go away. It's also, you're so much farther along than you used to be, and it's not just you. We've seen your person coming around some corners as well if you've been watching some of those previous readings. So very nice. Let's take a look here and see, answer that question. Let's see what is hidden about your person, what they're hiding. We don't know if it's them hiding it or if it's something that just isn't visible from where you're standing. It's very similar to a question that I used to ask more often, where it was what is hidden, but that's something that might help you understand a little bit more. So it might help to clear up a misunderstanding if you were aware of it. But, again, it could be something that they are intentionally keeping from you. It could just as easily be something that they're keeping from both you and themselves, though. So keep that in mind. And there's a card that swung around. All right, this is a third party energy, and it's not a healthy one. Some of you know that this is going on, and it's definitely taking the form of another person, where maybe your person is dating somebody else, seeing someone else in a bad marriage. I don't get good marriage out of it. This is the sort of experience where there's a third energy, and it could be, I'm going to go and say that for there's at least one of you, your person's in a decent marriage. The problem is their job. And maybe it's not even a romantic situation. Maybe it's a situation where you're not trying to break up a marriage here. Maybe you're in a marriage of your own. You're just looking for a harmonious relationship, but this job makes it impossible. That sort of thing. So there is something getting in the way of that is, it's difficult to say what it is, but something's definitely getting in the way, and either it's hidden from you or they're not. Like, it may be hidden from both of you. Just how toxic and difficult this is. Okay. I don't know what I expected to come out there, but I don't think it was that. So I'm super curious to know about this third party energy. Ooh, all right. So the first thing that comes out is this desire to control and to keep control. This starts to sound like something that if your person is keeping it from you, they could be doing this to themselves too. I'm just going to put that out there. But if your person is keeping this from you, it's very defensive. There's a defensive feel to it, and almost an arrogance that comes with it as well. So it's very unpleasant. This whole thing, this corner of them is very unpleasant. They are more capable than they lead you to believe. So if you've got somebody that's hiding and saying, "Oh, I'm not able to," we see the hiding energy over here. But if they're saying, "Oh, I'm really just not capable," like they're capable, they're not doing it. There's something about them that they are hiding from you, that they want to appear a certain way, and that's why they're making it look that way. That's not part of our reading. Sometimes the cards that come out, I only take the top one. Sometimes I take, as I usually say, the top seven. It's difficult to tell. I go until the glow stops. But what we've got here is somebody who's looking at a third party sort of energy, whether it's a person, a job, another relationship, a dog that they focus on entirely more than you would think. I don't know exactly what this is, but there is something going on there, and they like having that control, even if it's control over themselves, and they're more capable about it than they are leading you to believe. We also have the Four of Cups. This is okay. If this is, they're not telling you how they truly feel about something, and maybe they're letting you think that they are more down on it. Than they're giving you a different story than is real. So in some cases, it's, my marriage is fabulous, and it turns out their marriage is not fabulous. It may also be that they're saying my marriage is awful, and they're lying to you. This is something that isn't, it's definitely being kept from you intentionally. Now, how much of this is also being hidden from themselves, it's difficult to say, but it's in some cases it is quite devious. I would not say in all, but I definitely get that sense that no, it's being kept from you by your person, and they are more capable than they want to let on. That's really something. So there's this sense of they're aware. They may be more aware than you realize also of the equal give and take that they didn't give you, because we've seen in previous readings that there wasn't an equal give and take. We also saw that they didn't feel comfortable doing it. They didn't feel like they were worth it. So agree, there's definitely that feeling of not feeling like they're worth it, but there's, I don't know, they're putting more of that into an act and making it more of an egoistic thing than what I would have. anticipated based on a lot of the cards that we've gotten. So your person has awakened, but not necessarily acted like they're awake. They're also doing something that's new, and they've allowed themselves to get passionate about it. Now, I don't get the sense, yeah, I was just about to say before I looked over here, I don't get the sense that they're able to really utilize those lessons yet. And we've seen that in previous readings as well, where they've learned some pretty impressive lessons with you, but they don't know how to put them into place. So they may be in a new relationship or a third party situation trying to put it into play, and it's just failing miserably. I don't get a feel like from this that there's a happily ever after sort of thing, but I do get the feeling that they are very much in control, more so even than they led you to believe, but they are totally off balance. So they are exerting control, but they are not necessarily in a sustainable kind of way of control. So that's disheartening, but it's helpful for you to be aware of it, at least to understand kind of what is happening with some of this energy. Man, my cards got all slippery on me there. This is a great deck to shuffle, but apparently sometimes I can't handle it, and it's like they get just coated with oil. So the the Five of Pentacles. Okay, so now we're getting into why they're hiding it. Because one of the questions that I think I want to get into is what when we get into the extended, rather than getting just deeper into this, which we will look more deeply into what it is they're hiding, but I want to understand why. And I think we're starting to see that come out. This is their own pieces inside them that are kind of broken and rattling around. Creates a need for them to have a different type of attention. Creates so they're attracting a type of attention that really it's a lot of curiosity. It's a lot of sort of letting go like you would if you were inebriated, but it's almost like they're not that drunk and they're just kind of acting like it. There's this feeling of disingenuous behavior. Not I don't get the sense that everybody's trying to be evil here, that your person is trying to be real bad. I just get that there's like they almost do this as a defense mechanism, hide things, and then when they always have a little bit more control than they let on. That's kind of one of the things that I'm seeing here. I'm also seeing that it is they make it believable partially because they are coming from a place of brokenness and from a place of not feeling like they're quite ready, but they are feeling more ready than they're leading you to believe. There is certainly a lot more capability in them in some way than they're leading you to believe. So we're going to look more deeply into that when we get into the extended, because that's really interesting. We're also going to look into like what is causing them to drive, what's driving them to do this. But first, before we go there, we're going to get focused on what you should be doing right now. Um, and this is one of my favorite questions to ask because it's kind of like the so then what question. We got an idea of what's happening there, but what's some guidance for you that's going to help you as you process this and just sort of move along with this energy? Because we see this mixed energy here of things are trying to get into a more calm place, but they're really just not there yet. Um, okay, so there is this message that kind of keeps coming across to you, and this in this case is not the one about finding your passion. This one is more about letting things flow. Okay, so instead of jumping in like your person is here and working really hard to focus the energy where you want it and to direct it and to control it and to make sure that you're controlling the message, that takes a lot of energy all by itself. Your best bet is to reflect on where you feel like you've had no control in a situation, and then think about how much of a choice or control that you actually have had. So I have a friend who is fond of telling me there is always a choice in the matter. Sometimes the choices are either you do something that's reasonable or you've got some less reasonable choices or unreasonable choices. So it feels like there's kind of no choice, but there is always a choice. And so focusing on that awareness. This is the Corona Borealis, which is the equivalent of the lovers in this deck. It's about that. It's about a choice. It is very strongly about a choice. It's about a choice in love, but in this case, it's really about a choice in love that highlights for you just how much you really do have a choice in the reality of things. And it shows you in this almost impossible kind of situation so that you can um, use it for reference, and it's going to be great reference for you in the future, but right now maybe it just feels like a difficult thing. Let's look a little bit more deeply into what you can be doing here, because this is really about how you're viewing the situation, not necessarily how you're driving change within it. We've got the Seven of Pentacles, which is it's a card of investment, but it's also a card of timing um, and like planting seeds at the wrong time. Okay, so the Seven of Pentacles in the upright, it's about planting seeds and then you get to reap the rewards later. But if you plant the seeds at the beginning of the cold season and all of them die and nothing comes up, then you've done it at the wrong time. And you're going to have to wait until spring to sow those seeds in a way that it's actually going to work for you. Otherwise, unless you've got something that overwinters, then it's not the right time to make the investment. I'm not going to get too deeply into the gardening piece or the planting, but you get the idea. It's like it's not so much that there's a lack of investment, but it's a lack of investment at the right time. Got to have the investment at the right time, and it's also kind of got to be going the right direction. So, and the right direction may vary. So what we've got here is the Five of Wands, and this is the energy of things going in all different directions. It's struggle energy because it's energy that is inefficient. It's going so many different ways that it's kind of not accomplishing anything. If you could get all of these wands in the same direction, you may be able to accomplish a bridge. You may be able to accomplish something very special. And so the guidance here is to take that energy that you see and to realize, no, no, I do have a choice. This isn't just a mess. I can plant at the right time, as opposed to, because you have a lesson to learn with regard to not planting at the right time or in the right place, or something wasn't right about the way that you've invested something. And it's a lesson that you've learned, but it's also allowing you to see that yes, the potential is all there, but you've got to get it directed, or allow for it to flow. And that's more important, allowing for it to flow in a direction that works before jumping in, before making your investment. So we've got this Nine of Wands. It's a little bit more along the lines of, this is that wall that no longer needs to be guarded. That Nine of Wands in the upright is that wounded warrior still guarding this wall. And honestly, this is not a super strong wall to begin with. It's about being defensive, but here in the reverse, we see some of that defensiveness falling away, which is actually a really beautiful thing. Seeing defensiveness fall away is, it's great in retrospect. It isn't necessarily great when you're going through it. It feels a little bit uncomfortable and a lot like you aren't quite sure what you should even be doing. The Knight of Swords, it's okay. So the Knight of Swords is a card of decisive forward movement. And this is hearkening back to, um, situation where you may have hesitated. So we've definitely seen some places where there may have been some hesitation. We also have seen some places where it's been difficult to meet your person in the middle, and this is that card that used to come up all the time. That it may be hard to meet in the middle and really find that common ground between the two of you. Part of this is because of maybe some of that hesitation, or looking at it and saying, here's something that I'm not sure about. Maybe we have an age difference here. Someone's not sure about it and has balked and run away, or maybe it's a difference in something else. But that there is something here that has caused the two of you not to meet in the middle emotionally. And it has been partially hesitation, and there should be some hesitation you should be able to identify on your side. But there is a need for the two of you both to feel connected to your higher power, protected and prepared to jump out and get what you want, to fight for what you want. So this is the Seven of Swords. That's a feeling that probably needs to come out for both of you, but it's showing up right now in what do you need to do in that energy. So that's the way we're going to take it, but keep in mind that this is a message that actually needs to go for both of you. And that's it for that little stack. Let's see if anything else wants to come out, because I feel like we want at least one more card. This is kind of difficult messaging though, because it's telling you You have to go with the flow, but you also have to remember things that have maybe not gone great in the past and allow them to happen. We've got the tower. You're allowing the tower to come down. We've seen this in multiple readings now, where you need to be able to allow this tower to fall because those are the building blocks that you're going to use to build things back up again and to allow yourself to get back up again. Let's get you an oracle card to go across all of this, just kind of as some advice before we jump into the extended reading and learn a little bit more about what the secrets are that are hiding from you. Because we're definitely getting, yes, there are secrets. Yes, someone is being a little bit deceptive. Even if they feel like they're doing it for the right reasons, that's happening. It's not really surprising in this mixed up energy that we've got over here, but it is good to know. And then over here, we see what you can be doing about it all comes down to just kind of allowing things to flow. So the card that comes out for you is the Mugwort Dreams, Rhythm, Higher Self, Reality, Rest. This is time with yourself. This is meditation. It's prayer. It's chanting. It's taking time to, and not everybody does all of those things, but those are all different ways to get to this kind of space that you're being encouraged to go. It's communing with that higher self and really making that connection, understanding that you are protected so that even as this tower comes down, you're able to take that rest. You're able to take the dose of reality and you're able to say, all right, how do I rebuild this? So we're going to go ahead and go into the extended. We're going to look a little bit more deeply into what is happening here with what your person is hiding. We're also going to look into see what's driving that. Like, why are they hiding? They're not just hiding, they're hiding stuff. They're hiding from you and they're hiding information from you. And we're going to look into a little bit more about what that is and why. We'll probably also dig into a little bit more on your side, what you need to be doing, because I think this could simply be a little bit better explained. So we're going to dig into that in the extended. Hope to see you there. The link is down below if you want to go there. Otherwise, I will see you in another reading.